The door slammed shut behind me, echoing through the empty house like a gunshot. As I stumbled into the living room, my heart pounding from the secret I just confessed. My brother, Jake, stared at me with wide eyes, his face twisting from confusion to rage in seconds, and before I could explain, he lunged forward, his fist connecting with the wall inches from my head. "You're what? With Lumi? My best friend?" he shouted. And in that instant, the fragile world I built around my hidden desires crumbled, leaving me exposed and alone in the wreckage of our family's trust. I collapsed onto the couch, tears streaming down my face, the weight of the revelation crushing me. For years, I'd buried my feelings, pretending to be the perfect daughter in our conservative Vietnamese-American household in Seattle. Mom and Dad had immigrated here dreaming of stability, raising Jake and me to honor traditions while chasing the American dream. But now, at 22, fresh out of college with a degree in psychology that was supposed to help me understand myself, I was unraveling everything. It started innocently enough, or so I told myself. Lumi had been Jake's best friend since high school, the two of them inseparable through football games and late-night study sessions. She was 24 now, working as a graphic designer, with that effortless confidence that made everyone gravitate toward her. I'd always admired her from afar. Her sharp wit, her unapologetic laugh, the way she challenged norms without a second thought. But last summer, when Jake invited her to our family barbecue, something shifted. We were in the backyard, the grill smoking with marinated ribs, Dad flipping burgers while Mom chatted with neighbors. Lumi and I ended up alone by the fire pit as the sun dipped low. "You're quieter than usual, Lon," she said, handing me a soda. Her blue eyes locked onto mine, and I felt a spark I'd never allowed myself to acknowledge. "Just thinking about life after graduation." I lied, but she saw through it. We talked for hours that night, about dreams, fears, the pressure of expectations. By the time everyone went inside, I realized I was falling for her. The next few months were a whirlwind of stolen moments. Lumi would come over under the pretense of hanging out with Jake, but we'd sneak away to the basement, sharing whispers and laughs that felt like oxygen after years of suffocation. She told me about her own coming out in college, how her parents had accepted it eventually, but warned me about the storms ahead. "Family can be the hardest part," she'd say, her hand brushing mine. I knew she was right, but the pull was too strong. Then came the night that changed everything. Jake was out of town for a work trip, and Lumi crashed at our place after a late movie marathon. We were in my room, the door cracked open for plausibility, when she leaned in and kissed me. It was soft, tentative, but it ignited a fire I'd suppressed for so long. We pulled away, breathless, and in that moment I felt whole. But guilt crept in immediately. What if Jake found out? What about Mom and Dad, who still talked about arranging dates with nice boys from the community? The confession happened the next day. Jake returned early, catching us in an awkward hug goodbye. His questions escalated, and I couldn't lie anymore. "I'm gay, Jake. And Lumi, she's more than a friend." His reaction was explosive, a mix of betrayal and disbelief. He stormed out, calling Lumi a traitor, leaving me to face the silence alone. Mom found me crying later that evening. She sat beside me, her face etched with worry. "What's wrong, con guy?" she asked in Vietnamese, her voice soft but probing. I hesitated, but the dam broke. I told her everything, watching her expression shift from concern to shock. "This isn't you, Lon. It's a phase. We raised you better." Her words cut deep, echoing the cultural clash I'd feared. Dad joined us, his silence more deafening than any shout. "We need to talk as a family," he finally said, but his eyes avoided mine. That night I lay awake replaying the scenes. Lumi texted me, "I'm sorry. I should have been more careful." But it wasn't her fault, it was mine for hiding. The pressure built inside me, a storm of inner conflict. Was loving her worth destroying my family? Society in Seattle was progressive, but our home was a bubble of old values, where being lesbian meant shame, whispers at temple gatherings, disappointed relatives back in Vietnam. The next morning, Jake confronted Lumi at her apartment. I wasn't there, but she called me afterward, voice trembling. "He said I betrayed him, that I took advantage of you. He's cutting me off." My heart sank. Jake had been my protector growing up, the big brother who shielded me from bullies. Now he saw me as the enemy. I drove to Lumi's place, finding her pacing, eyes red. "We can't let this break us," she said, pulling me into a hug. But doubt not at me. Was this love or just rebellion? As days passed, the ripple effects spread. Mom started attending support groups for parents of LGBTQ kids, but secretly, she urged me to pray it away. Dad buried himself in work, avoiding conversations. Friends at my new job as a counselor whispered, sensing the tension. And Jake? He moved out temporarily, staying with a buddy, leaving a void in the house. One evening, I met Lumi in a coffee shop downtown. The city buzzed around us. Rain-slicked streets, umbrellas popping open, but inside we were in our own bubble. "I love you, Lon," she whispered, her hand over mine. It was the first time she'd said it outright. Joy surged through me, but so did fear. What if this cost me everything? The weeks blurred into a haze of arguments and uneasy silences. Jake's absence hung over the house like a shadow. His room untouched, posters of football heroes staring blankly at the walls. Mom tried to bridge the gap, cooking my favorite pho, but her eyes betrayed the strain. "Family is everything, Lon. Don't throw it away for this." Her words stung, laced with the immigrant's fear of losing cultural ties in a foreign land. I threw myself into work at the community center, counseling teens struggling with identity. It was ironic, helping others navigate their truths while mine threatened to drown me. One client, a 16-year-old girl named Mia, confessed her crush on a classmate. "My parents would kill me," she said. I nodded, empathy raw. "It's hard, but living authentically is worth the fight." Hypocrite, I thought as I drove home. Lumi became my anchor. Our dates, clandestine walks in Pike Place Market, blending into the crowds. We'd share fish tacos, laughing at street performers, but tension simmered. "Jake will come around," she'd assure me. But doubt festered. Was I using her to escape my fears? Or was this real? The first major confrontation came at a family dinner. Jake showed up unannounced, face hardened. Dad cleared his throat. "We need to address this." Jake exploded. "Address what? That my sister is sleeping with my best friend? Lumi, you were like family." I flinched. "It's not like that, Jake. We love each other." He laughed bitterly. "Love? You barely know yourself, Lon. This is confusion." Mom interjected, tears welling. "In our culture, this isn't accepted. Think of your future, marriage, children." Dad nodded solemnly. "We've sacrificed so much for you kids." The guilt twisted like a knife. I stormed out, Lumi waiting in her car. "They're wrong," she said, but her voice wavered. Society's judgment amplified the chaos. At a temple event, aunts whispered, "Poor Lon, so lost in America." One cousin pulled me aside. "Is it true? About you and that girl?" I denied it, shame burning. Online forums debated LGBTQ rights, but in my world it felt like war. Then betrayal struck. Jake, in his anger, confided in our extended family. Calls flooded in from Vietnam. Uncles lecturing about duty. Grandparents lamenting the family name. Mom broke down one night. "They're saying we failed as parents." I hugged her, whispering apologies, but resentment brewed. Why couldn't they see my happiness? Lumi faced her own fallout. Her boss, overhearing gossip, questioned her professionalism. Keep personal drama out of work. Friends distanced themselves, siding with Jake. "You crossed a line," one texted. We argued that night. "Maybe we should pause," I suggested, fear gripping me. Her eyes flashed. "Is that what you want? To hide again?" I shook my head, but the seed was planted. A turning point came during a rain-soaked hike in the Olympics. Lumi and I escaped the city, trails muddy underfoot. "Why me?" I asked. She stopped, rain dripping from her hood. "Because you see me, Lon. Not the tough exterior, but the real me." We kissed, passion fueled by desperation. But on the drive back, reality crashed in. A text from Jake. "Meet me. Alone." At a diner, Jake sat rigidly. "I miss my sister," he admitted. "But this? It feels like theft." Tears stung my eyes. "Lumi didn't steal me. I chose her." He sighed. "Choose family instead." The ultimatum hung heavy. That night I weighed options. Break up with Lumi to mend fences, or stand firm and risk isolation. Mom's intervention added layers. She dragged me to a therapist, one specializing in cultural integration. The session was tense. Your feelings are valid, the doctor said. But consider the impact. Mom nodded eagerly. I left fuming, feeling manipulated. Lumi sensed my turmoil. If you need space, I'll give it. Her selflessness broke me. I pulled her close, vowing to fight. But deep down, moral quandaries swirled. Was pursuing love selfish? Did tradition trump personal truth? The drama escalated when Jake confronted Lumi at a mutual friend's party. Voices rose, accusations flew. You manipulated her, he yelled. Lumi stood her ground. She chose this. Respect her. A shove, a fall, chaos. I arrived late, finding Lumi bruised, Jake remorseful. I didn't mean, he trailed off. In the aftermath, we three sat in the ER waiting room. Silence stretched until Jake spoke. I love you both. But this hurts. Vulnerability cracked his armor. For the first time, hope flickered. Yet wounds deepened. Dad, hearing of the fight, banned Lumi from the house. No more drama. Mom pleaded for peace. I felt torn, loyalties fracturing. One sleepless night I journaled my thoughts. The joy Lumi brought versus the pain inflicted. Society preached acceptance, but reality bit hard. Was I strong enough? The fracture lines in my family deepened, spiderwebbing into every aspect of life. Work became a refuge, but even there, echoes of home intruded. A colleague, sensing my distraction, asked, "Everything okay?" I forced a smile. Just family stuff. Inside, turmoil raged, balancing love with legacy. Lumi and I stole moments in hidden spots, like the ferry to Bainbridge Island, waves chopping against the hull. We're in this together, she'd say, her hand in mine. But paranoia crept in. A glance from a stranger, a whisper, were they judging? Seattle's liberal vibe clashed with our internalized shame. Jake's remorse led to tentative outreach. A text? Coffee. We met at Starbucks, steam rising from lattes. I overreacted, he admitted. But Lumi was my rock. Losing her friendship. His voice cracked. Empathy surged. I didn't plan this, Jake. It just happened. He nodded slowly. Give me time. Mom's evolution was slower, laced with denial. She baked cookies, a peace offering, but slipped in comments. Remember that nice boy from church? I snapped one day. Mom, I'm not changing. Hurt flashed in her eyes. I'm trying, Lon. For you. Dad remained stoic, his silence a barrier. At dinner, he finally spoke. In Vietnam, we hid differences to survive. Here it's freedom, but at what cost? His words pierced, highlighting the immigrant dilemma. Assimilation versus authenticity. A moral crossroads arrived via an unexpected call. Our aunt in California, progressive by family standards, offered advice. Follow your heart, but mend bridges. Inspired, I organized a family meeting. Tensions boiled over. Jake accused Lumi, via speakerphone, of betrayal. You knew she was vulnerable. Lumi retorted. Vulnerable? She's strong. You're the one scared. Mom defended tradition. Our community will shun us. Dad interjected. Perhaps it's time to challenge that. Surprise rippled through me. A crack in his facade. The argument peaked when I declared, I won't choose. Love me as I am. Silence followed, heavy with unspoken regrets. Post-meeting, Lumi and I debriefed in her apartment, takeout boxes scattered. That was brave, she said. Pride swelled, but exhaustion hit. What if they never accept? She cupped my face. Then we build our own family. Society's pressures mounted. At a pride event, we held hands publicly for the first time. Joy mingled with anxiety. Friends cheered, but a passerby's glare reminded me of risks. Online trolls targeted Jake's social media after he posted ambiguously, "Family first." Comments poured in, some supportive, others vicious. Betrayal reared again when a cousin leaked our story to a local Vietnamese newsletter. Headlines screamed, "Cultural clash in the diaspora." Mom wept. Our privacy invaded. Rage fueled me to confront the cousin. Why? She shrugged. To warn others. The damage was done, whispers at work, stares in stores. In the midst of chaos, a moment of clarity. Hiking with Lumi, we reached a viewpoint overlooking the sound. I choose you, I said. She smiled, but worry lined her eyes. At what price? The price came swiftly. Jake, pressured by friends, distanced himself further. I can't support this. His words echoed betrayal. Mom's health suffered. Stress-induced migraines. Dad confided. She's scared of losing you. Guilt consumed me. Was my happiness worth their pain? Ethical debates swirled. Individualism versus collectivism. In therapy alone now I explored. Am I selfish? The counselor replied. Or human? A dramatic twist. Lumi received a job offer in New York. It's a dream gig, she said, eyes pleading. Panic surged. Go without me? She hesitated. We could make it work. But doubt poisoned the air. Or is this an out? I accused. Hurt flashed. No, Lon. But if you're not all in. The argument escalated, words like daggers. You're running. I yelled. From what? Us. She countered. We parted angry, the first real rift. Reconciliation with Jake offered solace. He called. I miss hanging out. We met for burgers. Lumi is good for you, he conceded. But it stings. Vulnerability bonded us. Help me fix this, I begged. He did, convincing Mom to attend a PFLA meeting. Their stories of acceptance moved her. Maybe I was wrong, she whispered later. But Dad resisted, clinging to old ways. Change is hard. His stubbornness frustrated, but I saw fear beneath. As high tide approached, Lumi's decision loomed. Stay or go? She asked. I weighed the scales. Love versus roots. The ultimatum from Lumi hung like a guillotine, forcing choices I dodged. I need to know where we stand, she said over dinner at a quiet Italian spot, pasta untouched. Her blue eyes searched mine, vulnerable for once. I love you, but I can't wait forever. My throat tightened. Give me a week. That week was hell. At home, tentative peace reigned. Mom experimented with acceptance, asking about Lumi hesitantly. She's nice. I nodded, hope budding. Jake bridged gaps, inviting Lumi to a neutral lunch. Truce, he offered. She accepted warily. Conversation flowed awkwardly at first, then genuinely, old jokes resurfacing. I've missed this, Jake admitted. Lumi smiled. Me too. But undercurrents pulled. Dad's silence persisted, a wall I chipped at daily. Talk to me, I pleaded one evening in the garage, tools scattered from his latest project. He sighed. I'm proud of you, Lon. But this. It's new. Tears welled. New doesn't mean wrong. He hugged me, a rare gesture. Progress, fragile but real. Society's mirror reflected harshly. A community forum debated our scandal. Opinions divided. Supporters messaged encouragement. Detractors spewed hate. One email. Disgrace to your heritage. It shook me, amplifying inner doubts. Was I betraying my roots? Lumi's impatience grew. The job starts soon. We argued in her car. Rain pounding the roof. You're stalling, she accused. Because it hurts. I shot back. Everything I do causes pain. She softened. Then let's face it together. A pivotal betrayal shattered the fragile equilibrium. Jake, in a moment of weakness, confided in an old flame who twisted the story online. Brother's best friend seduces sister. Family destroyed. The post went viral in local circles. Mom collapsed in sobs. Our name ruined. Dad raged. Who did this? I confronted Jake. How could you? He hung his head. I needed to vent. I'm sorry. Trust fractured anew. Lumi fumed. This is why I want out. Desperation clawed. Don't leave. In the storm's eye, I sought solitude at Discovery Park, waves crashing below. Reflections surged. The joy of Lumi's touch, the warmth of family dinners. Could I have both? Moral calculus tormented. Sacrifice self for harmony, or pursue truth at all costs? Reawakening came via Mom's initiative. She cooked a feast, inviting Lumi. Let's try. Tension thickened the air. Dad grumbled but stayed. Conversation halting then flowing. Lumi shared her story. Orphaned young, finding strength in authenticity. Mom listened, eyes softening. You've been through much. Jake added levity, teasing old times. But the night ended in confrontation. Dad challenged. Is this forever? Lumi met his gaze. If she'll have me. I interjected. It is. Silence, then Dad's nod. Then prove it. Post-dinner, Lumi and I walked, stars piercing the clouds. That was huge. Hope ignited, but the job loomed. Take it, I said suddenly. We'll figure long distance. Her eyes widened. Really? Yes. I trust us. Betrayal's aftershocks lingered. The online post led to harassment, calls, emails. We reported it, but damage scarred. Jake made amends, deleting contacts, vowing loyalty. I was wrong. As climax built, a family crisis unified us. Grandma in Vietnam fell ill. News hitting hard. We rallied, Mom flying over. In her absence, Dad opened up. Life's short. Don't waste it hiding. His words a turning point. Lumi delayed her move, prioritizing us. New York's not going anywhere. Gratitude overwhelmed. We planned a trip, testing waters. Yet doubts persisted. In therapy, I unpacked. Am I choosing right? Affirmations helped, but choices' prices weighed. The final push. A community event where I spoke publicly. My story is one of love amid struggle. Applause mixed with boos, but empowerment surged. Returning home, family awaited. Jake? Proud of you. Mom called from abroad. Be happy. Dad? Welcome, Lumi. Healing began, but scars remained. Love demanded sacrifice, time, tears, trust rebuilt. With Grandma stable, Mom returned transformed. Seeing her frail reminded me. Family endures. She hugged Lumi tentatively. You're part of that now. Tears flowed, a dam breaking. Jake clapped Lumi on the back. Back to being buds? She grinned. Only a few by the first round. Normalcy crept in, but cautiously. Dinners included Lumi. Conversations shifting from awkward to animated. Dad shared stories of his youth, hinting at his own suppressed dreams. I wanted to be an artist, but duty called. Understanding deepened. Our struggles mirrored generations. Society's acceptance varied. At work, colleagues applauded my bravery. Others distanced. A promotion came, rewarding resilience. Lumi thrived, turning down New York for a local opportunity. Here is home now. Inner peace eluded at times. Nightmares of rejection plagued, but Lumi's presence soothed. We've weathered the storm. Her strength bolstered mine. A final confrontation sealed growth. At a family reunion, relatives probed. An uncle sneered. Still with that phase? I stood tall. It's who I am. Jake defended. Back off. Mom added. Respect her. Unity triumphed. Betrayals faded into lessons. The online fiasco led to advocacy. I volunteered at LGBTQ centers, channeling pain into purpose. Lumi joined, our bond strengthening through service. Yet, the journey's toll lingered. Friendships lost, innocence shattered. Moral reflections haunted. Did ends justify means? The damage to bonds, the awakenings birthed. In quiet moments we'd reflect. Worth it? Lumi asked by the fireplace. Every scar, I replied. The story closed on a crisp autumn day, leaves swirling in Volunteer Park. We sat on a bench, hands entwined. We've come far, she said. I nodded, heart full. But questions remained. In pursuing personal truth, do we owe apologies for the collateral pain inflicted on those we love?